Hello and welcome to my Triumph of Disaster. Today I want to talk about some tools I used to use and tools I'm about to use. Many years ago, when the body was off the frame, I did some brake pipes and couplings and things for the brakes, and I used this tool, double fairing tool, different size for the pipes, different dies, and the old compression tool here. That was a long job, that was. And as we know that on the 75 TR6 there's metric and there's imperial fittings on both ends, and we need to do bubble flares, which is for all male fittings except for the rear brake cylinders, and we have to do double flare ends for all the female fittings and rear brake cylinders. And I just want to note that for the TR6 after 1870, metric calibers were used. So check that you have them fitted, because you never know, with the previous owner might have fitted some imperials instead of metric because that's all they could get at the time. So I want to move from here and I want to go to this. This is out of the box SEEKSELF tool, and it does the brake fittings. So if you want to do the bubble and double bubble, I get mixed up with the double bubble, but Erin on Rusty Beauties has posted a fine guide to brake lines and fittings 1972 to 1976, and if I can find the link, I'll put the link in the description. So let's see what we get out of the box. Well, to begin with, this box is over 9 pounds in weight. So does weight mean quality? I don't know. So we get the tool. So this is one tool that'll do your fittings, your double flare or your bubble fitting, and you get 4 sets of dies, 3/16, 1/4, 5/16 and 3/8, and there's a T-bar handle, and there's also a pipe cutting tool. So let's see if it works out of the box. Okay, I've clamped the tool into the vise. It's got to be pretty sturdy, and I'm using the 3/16 die bit. You have to make sure that you have the 45 die, and it's marked 45 on the edge here, facing this tool stock. So put that in, push it back as far as it'll go, and here's the tube I've just cut off. I didn't find that the tube cutter was any good, so I had to use a hacksaw, and I just reamed it out. So you're just going to place this in, put it in the other part of the die, make sure you get the 45 the correct way around. Flip this over, pull this out, then just push it in and give that a quick tight. and the brake pipe should extend out here from the die about 4 mil. When this gets compressed, the pipe goes into the die. Before we start, let's have another look at the tool. This is where the die sits in. This locking tool, like a vise. There's a pin here, a locator pin that locks the hole down in place. On here, this is rotary, and we have a number of settings depending on what size pipe you use and depending on what kind of flare you want. They're called OP1s, OP2s. I guess that's operation 1, operation 2, operation 0, and for the different size diameters of pipes that you're using. And the instructions say that we have to use, for a bubble flare, that we have to use OP0 and OP1 for 3/16. So here's OP1. It's a flat disc, and it's going to push the pipe into the die and flatten it against the edge. So you got to be careful how far the die comes out. The brake pipe comes out, because that has got to get compressed into here. So I'll give that a big twist, and as you can see, it's in line with the edge of the tooling. So now, as we're using 3/16 stock and I want a bubble flare, we select OP1 for 3/16. Make sure that the dies are lined up, because there's a bit movement, as you can see, a bit wiggle room. So just give it a compress, make sure it gets lined up, and when you're happy, swing it around. And then release this pressure here. Release the bar. Take out the die and see what we have. Now that just looks like a flare to me. Oh, I'd selected OP2, so that gives me a single flare. So we'll just hold back and we'll go back to where we should have. So OP0, OP2 gives you a flare. Well, shall we try this again? In with 3/16 die, making sure that the 45 is on the outside. Put a pipe in, put your other 45 die in, make sure it's the right way around, on with a locking clamp, bring it down, push it back firmly, give it a little snug, bring that back to about 4mm. Snug this up, select OP1. Make sure it's in line flush with the die, and as we want a double flare this time, we want OP1 3/16. OP1 3/16, and we just want to make sure that the pointy bit is going squarely into the tube. So just give it a quick line. Must be some ghosts left over from Halloween. And snug it up and release it. And let's see what we have. So let's have a look, see what we have here. If you can see that, we have the can zoom this in a bit. We have the flare. The bubble flare, I should say. And if we put this back in, back on the 45, make sure it's down. It doesn't matter if these dies are upside down, it doesn't matter which way the die is going. So the locking in, make sure this pin goes all the way across, tighten it down, make sure it's there tight, and if we want a bubble flare, it's OP0, OP1 followed by OP2. So you would leave it in there, and you select OP2, which is all the way over here, and make sure it's there goes that drawer again. Make sure it's lined up and give it a twirl, stops, and take it out. This pin. See what we have, and here we have the double flare. See if we get that zoomed in a bit. So there we have the double flare. Now, this tool takes some getting used to, but it seems better than the old flaring kit. I have to remember that 4mm sticking out for when the die compresses. And there's another one I did earlier. Same, double. So, the question is, did the SEEKSELF flaring tool work out of the box? I would say yes, apart from this pipe cutting tool. I did not like it, didn't do the job. And before, when I was talking about errands from Risky Beauties, he has a brake line fitting for TR6 72 to 76, and it covers all of the what flares you need, bubble, double bubble, I don't know. And but here there's caution on the male with the non-threaded lead is used for the front calipers. So if I can find the link again, I'll put that in the comments. I thank you for watching, and if you find this useful, please leave a comment and feel free to subscribe. I'm going to sit down now in my chair in front of my pellet stove looking at my rustic beauty. Good night all.